We're into the crosses, about 3 strings. I always weave one string ahead of the other because the string that has tension on it will lift and lower the mains so that it makes it easier to weave, because you weave in the same pattern every other string. So if you add a loose string in between the one you're actually weaving, it makes it easier to weave. Now there's a lot of different patterns that you can use to string a racket. Like I started off, this is a 2-piece string job, or a 4-knot string job. The single-piece string job, the mains end up at the top, and there's a short side and a long side. Now the short side is measured by 3 lengths of the racket and about 6 inches. Now that's the average racket. There are some rackets, the large-headed rackets like the Weed or the Limits, that require more, probably about 2 feet more. Also rackets that have 18 mains rather than 16 mains will require an extra foot. I also like, because it's very quick, the 50-50 string job. It's a 1-piece where half of the 40-foot piece is on one side and the other half is on the other. And when it comes time to do the crosses, you start in the middle of the racket with 1 piece and work your way up, and with the other side, you, after finishing the top, you go from the middle down. And what that does is it allows you to work with less string when you're doing the crosses. If you start at the very top with a long piece, you're dragging a lot more string across strings every time until you get near the bottom. And as a result, it just takes you more time, and you also wear out the strings a little bit. This is only really critical when you're dealing with rough strings or with gut. 50-50. And what it does is it means that I'm not, like when I start at the top with the crosses, I'm dragging a lot of string around. Just takes extra time to drag it all through. If you start in the middle with a piece, it doesn't. What I've done here is I've edited out some information that was actually bogus. I don't know what I was thinking. And so I've turned the volume down on something I did before and over voiced it. I'm just waiting for that section to be done, and then I'll go back to the regular. Maybe even longer. But after you've done 1 or 2, you should get it down to about 45 minutes. Then if you're doing it on a daily basis, where you're stringing 4 or 5 rackets a day, you ought to be able to get it down to about 25 minutes. The world record for stringing was set this year. They had a stringing contest in Las Vegas, and I think 8 minutes or 6 minutes was the world's record. My wife can do that kind of speed. We did some charitable work where we strung rackets for free, so she wasn't as careful with it as she would normally be, and she was able to do string jobs in 6 minutes. she's got much smaller hands than I do, and she's got better technique, and she strings about 25 rackets a day anyway, so she's practiced. Now I'm about halfway down this thing.